Sitting here waiting for my battery to charge. It's interesting. Yeah, I thought I was going to get out there and I had two batteries done, but I like the bigger battery. It holds the charge longer, so I'm going to charge it again. Um, uh, it's getting kind of hot and tired, so I figured I'd just sit in, charge the battery, and go back out. Just, when you're tired, rest. When you're hungry, eat. When you're thirsty, drink. Um, uh, yeah, it sucks. I was talking to my dad about this a lot too. Because he says, doing the nut stuff is exhausting and tiring. It's like, yeah, it is, but it's only once a year, and you don't have to rush it. But I notice that a lot with my dad when he has things he's got to get done. He wants to get it done, and he has that very, like Ralph or Albert and Benny used to tell me, "Manana, Ralph, come back and get it tomorrow." But he has that Puritan worth thing and stuff like that, and I like to get out there and get things done, and I like to be healthy to get it done. But when you're being tortured and you get sick and you're tired, you know, I was sitting there about the things I want to get done, and Suzuki's get done what you can get done. Do it to the best of your ability. The depression is because of all the weight you feel carrying, the responsibility of all the people that pray to Jesus to save them. And that's understandable. It's unreasonable, but it's understandable. I'm like, okay, Flash Gordon, I'm not, right? Yeah, no, I'm very tired, and it makes sense. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. So I don't. I've been tortured my whole life, so I don't concern myself with physically dying. Dying takes care of itself. And to a lot of people, that feeling is very cold. But we're given the gift of life with the glory of God, and it's a lack of sacrifice. We live out our lives and die. And we weren't meant to be tortured and murdered by perverts that manipulate us. We were meant to honor the gift of life through sharing it in holy covenants, through obeying natural laws to love. And I'm that restoration of the Gospels, and I get that, and it's, exhausting. But, I see why people love the Messiah so much and put so much on his shoulders and see him as I don't see why they see him as a God. I don't see why they don't just stand up for his commands without fear. I don't understand it. But then again, I'm the Messiah and they're not. And they've been biologically conditioned and psychologically conditioned by Satan and the devil to be seduced by the delusions of grandeur and I'm heroic and I solve everybody's problems and my greatness. I want all I can get of your sexy in the showers. Your love comes in showers of you. I understand feeling that way, but I'm the type of person, baby, don't be looking in my mind. You might not like what you find. For honey, I know you better than you think I do. Don't expect my every thought to be of you, for I'm a man and men have things to do. And if you're busy thinking about your wife while you're doing something that can get other people hurt if you're not paying attention, and I've had that happen before. And and a lot of that, when you come distracted and you forget about things, I can't remember what it was I was doing yesterday. I was doing something and I forgot about, maybe it was locking the front door. And I did it out of reflex. And did you lock the front door? Yeah, I checked it, and I did. Like I always check 2 or 3 times for the card to make sure I slid it back in the wallet, which I always do, but I do it just in because it's my dad's card. And at one time I set my wallet on top of the car and lost it when we went to Hungry Howie's, and that was a pain in the ass. And it was Phoenix. No one was going to return it. No one was going to be a good Samaritan. And so I had to go cancel all the cards and get a new ID in the whole 9 yards. And which sucks. Yeah, it does. Which is why forgive debt and trespass, love one another, for peace works. So you don't have this strap of leather, or I trust the guys who made this wallet with my life. It's like, what a fucking idiot. He doesn't trust the Lord with his commands. He trusts 2 idiots that have your identity and extortion, exploitation, and you're on your ass. God dang, fucking assholes, right? Yeah, and past, present, future operate at the same time. Assholes know they're assholes. They just think the other asshole's a bigger asshole than they are. Okay. Oh, Vladimir Putin going to China. We can live you can live longer and forever through organ transplants. It's like, why would the reason why their pathetic ass wants to live longer? They're being the merciless. You know, they're the king from the stories in the Quran with Abram and the king. I can have any man I want killed and get any woman I want pregnant. I'm a god. Make the sun rise in the east. Make the sunset. Make the earth swell so we have tides. Or whatever it's doing. It goes in and out. Yes, it does go in and out. Tide comes in, tide goes out. It's actually doing this. Well, it's still going in and going out. Yeah, I understand, like the sun does rise and set on your ass, but it does on everyone else's as well. To us, it does rise and it does set, even though it's what's perceived as an illusion because the earth is turning, right? But it's still the sun rises and the sun sets. And that's the way it is. And the perspective makes tons of sense because it's been that way since we've been able to have babies and love our babies, right? And so, just because the perception is not correct in applications of physics doesn't mean that there's something wrong with those people. And I understand magical thinking religious people that want to live a good life more than I do people that, the poor little girl trained at school with her dad listening. We were not having this conversation more because I talked about King David. And it's like, oh, God, yeah, because they think we're religious mooks and we're wackadoodles. It's like when you talk about values and eternal values that are perfect and you should live them, only an idiot throws the baby out with the bathwater, right? And so, yeah, you're saying, yes, that girl's being trained to be an idiot at school. She was terrified of the cover. We're not having this conversation where she ran away from me, like a lot of the liberals do, Abortion, sex change, drugs. Abortion, sex change, drugs. I'll fight for this freedom. Oh, George Orwell, love you. And then the other people, hey, I'll fight for the right to kill over what I want. And the other people, I'll kill myself so you don't have to kill me to get what you want. And it's like, just stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Both of you putzes, they can't. So someone has to do it for them. So then therefore you have your Christ, your Lord and Savior. And Ming's not immortal as God. He's probably just cloning himself, that stuff's that's somebody's imagination, but they knew they would get to these points. Past, present, future operate same time. Okay. So cloning and molecular manipulation, we've already known about what they refer to as reincarnation. It's not reincarnation. It's just molecular similitudes. It's close inbreeding, perpetuating the brain activity over tens of thousands of years. And it's hideous. It's hideous. Just study the history of the royal families of England and they don't remain consistent because, look at the Egyptian royalty. Okay. How many times is it, of these different invading tribes and they're replaced by the other violent cult that kicks the other one out, the other one comes back in. And so, they talk about these great histories when we were conqueror of lands. It's like, oh, God, great histories, yeah. Violence, sex cult, selfishness. And they see it as great. And they talk about all the greatness of it all the time. Manifest destiny. We're great. We're great. We're the greatest country of all time. God is the power and glory. Okay. And when you submit to faith in God and obey natural laws, you reflect the greatness of the gift of life. Okay. If you're not capable of doing that, don't worry about it. I am. We got this, as far as trying to fix technology. Can we? I can't tell you. I'm not God. Okay. I'm the eternal spirit of the Lord. I'm not God. Okay. I can't tell you, I can't explain to you enough. Muhammad's not an omnipotent God. Jesus is not an omnipotent God. Haile Selassie is not an omnipotent God. Okay. Harold Klemp definitely is not. We're not omnipotent, omnipotent gods. And neither were the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. They just had extensive surveillance accepted by most people so they could manipulate most people to establish what they would perceive as order, which is wrong. The thing is, their thing is if you don't watch what they're doing, they'll undermine you. It's like, okay, that's because you guys are building nuclear reactors. Okay, look, if you build robots to do the work in your nuclear reactors, okay, if the waste is excessive and compulsive and toxic to people, why are you using it? Now, if you can do things and you're usually using it to do your war machines, your big buildings, your big bins of industry, all the things that you're doing that are irrational, excessive, and compulsive, have things to do with aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, all that crazy shit, right? Being the merciless, right? Hans Zarkov, you know. So common sense mandates that you share, care, give, and accordance needed, and build to last. Okay, and everything you're doing is in the exact contrast, an abomination to common sense, right? And reason. Okay. So when you have somebody that's reasonable, okay, he's able to explain to people that thought they had common sense and thought they were reasonable before just how unreasonable they are because of their eternal fears, that they're terrified of their own shadow. Okay. Richard Dawkins is terrified of Stephen Hawking. You know, that first conversation we had, I didn't know who the man was. And then they explained to me, and his physical ailments are horrible. It feels like someone's constantly sitting on your chest. It's very uncomfortable. Okay. Now, me with my chemical poisoning, with the chemical poisoning in it, trying to get out through the melanoma spots on the shins and the ankles is horrible, especially someone as athletic and athletic adaptive as I am. You know, it's really painful when I get up to do the exercise that I do to maintain my health. It makes it very uncomfortable, and it's hard to do. And then I go out in the sun and I detox from the poisoning from the perverts. He's just like, okay, I poison you. Fuck. See, most of these assholes. I can't tell you what's going on. I'm not James Vanderbeek and I'm not Chadwick Boseman. Okay. And I keep getting told that by Suzuki. Okay. And Bob and Haley, you know, you're not, you know, we were murdered by the Tuskegee experiments and the results of it, like your mother. Okay. You're not Chadwick Boseman, and you're not, and all this stuff. And Selassie recovered from the poisoning, and then that was recovering, and then was assassinated because the experiments weren't working as extensively on him. It was harder, and you know, it had to be something that was that looked like natural levels. So the toxicology reports weren't. I don't know how that shit works. I'm not an espionage genocidal operator that has equipment from espionage genocidal operators to appear to be a medical professional. I don't know. Okay, I can just tell you this. When people get poisoned, they die. When people are not poisoned, they can clean out the river of the body, that the river of the blood in your body is like a river in your body, and then they have a healthy river and they live out long, healthy lives. I can tell you that for sure. Okay. But when people get poisoned, they die. And if the stress and the poisons continue, they die, and some die more rapidly than others, and some are more susceptible to it than others. Okay. And that's not the type of risk of survival of the fittest I'm willing to take with any person on the planet. Even Adolf Hitler and his offspring. Okay. If you're living the Lord's Prayer, it's very difficult for Adolf Hitler and his offspring to be engaging in the propaganda of the Goebbels. Guys, it's exceedingly difficult. People come up and they walk up to you and say, "Hey, how about you give me money and I give you money and say it's more valuable than your life, and then I have sex with your daughter." You guys still want to make fun of Abrahamic religion on the Year One movie, or go sacrifice some virgins to a volcano in Hawaii? Seriously? Okay, what the fuck? Propaganda. And that's basically what propaganda is like. That's what they walk up and tell you. You know, okay, you're going to invent money, right, to manipulate access to sex with my daughter, right? And I'm going to capitulate you, or you're going to get all your scientific pervert friends to agree, poison, and then to get everybody to agree in a debating building that it's an act of God. Well, I guess you know, it's just too good to pass up. Me and my wife sincerely want to live. I don't want her to get killed by the river by the grandpa of the Waltons there. So I'll take your deal, and you're going to regret, because I'm the best there's ever been. You know, they're nuts. When you sit and look at the things they talk about, it's like, Seriously, you don't think you're batshit fucking crazy? Like, when you listen to people that are Romans that, they adapt into the healthy Roman society that work hard and work hard for everything, and it's a miracle, and it was a miracle God gave them the money and gave them their job, and they didn't die at 40 like other guys who didn't get the supervisory job and had to work in the place where all the toxins are at, right? So God rewarded you for not being put into the smelter with all the chemicals that kill you early and shut your body down. And God was punishing the other guy because he wasn't good enough to get the supervisor job. Have you ever tried to work out when you got chemical poisoning? And it's so nauseating that you can't, it's horrible, right? Like Bob Marley getting poisoned to death and other people, Sun Yat-sen. And they have this kind of thing, it's to see how strong I am, and the other people just aren't strong enough to hack it. Emily and Noah aren't emotionally strong enough to hack it because Amy's not strong enough to hack it, and all that bullshit that these assholes do. God didn't endow them with, okay, are we living the Lord's Prayer, you and your God that you're fucking talking about, asshole? Are you living the commands of the God? Then who are you to say who's worthy of living and dying in a genocidal cesspool of egotism? Hey, shutting up, fucking rabbit. Well, I'm going to let you have it, Muggsy, you motherfucker. Button your lip right now. They're like, you really don't think I can kick your ass anytime I fucking want? I kick it verbally anytime I want. You don't think I could physically? Bounce, motherfucker. Throw a punch at me. Come on, Food City parking lot. Throw a punch at my ass. Okay? I would love to UFC you try. Just like I used to tell my mom when I was a kid. When I sit there and act like this, I'll go, hey, Mom, are all homophobes? I'd love to see one of those motherfuckers try, Mom. That 6'4", 220-pound, sodomizing, fucking murdering, drug-dealing biker didn't want anything to do with the 17-year-old Cruz. Okay? More people than ever before know who I am. I have a strange feeling that if one of you tried to bounce on me and I just moved and then said, now it's my turn to hit you if you swing again. I offered you my cheek. I didn't say I was going to let you slap it. I didn't offend on you. You offended on me, and everybody's seen the evidence because of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Hey, I could do math better than you and them. Swing on me, motherfucker. Swing. I ain't going to stand there and let it. I didn't offend on you. Try to hit me again. Okay, if you keep getting aggressive and violent, I'm going to crush your sternum. Motherfucker, do you understand? Oh, you crushed his whittle sternum. Don't call me that unless you earn it. I'm Gaines's honorary nigga, not yours. You didn't earn that, motherfucker. You damn straight out of Compton, dumbass, motherfucking sorry ass bitch talking about abusing women sexually for money. Fuck you. Get the hell out of here before I kick your ass till you can't walk. I already done did it. Yep. Everybody knows how cool Earl is. If you don't know how cool Earl is, you don't know what's gorgeous in a man. Okay? Your head is so far up your ass, being your greatest asset to get fucked by a dog. You wouldn't know a man if he kicked your dog's ass every time he showed his giant dick in public. Hell, baby girls, come on now. You the Washington Monument's great straddler. Fuck that shit. You so damn ugly, you don't even know you ugly, and I have to explain it to you, and then you say I'm just jealous of your ugly. Fuck you. See, that's how you got to be with a woman when you want her to be a woman. And it's like, okay, now go marry Baron. Will defeat me in the Merciless. How? Lord's Prayer, everywhere, all the way, right? And so there is no way to defeat violence with violence. It's like George Carlin said, fighting for peace is like fucking for virginity, right? So it ain't going to happen. We can talk all this mess, but we've been down this way. We've been down this way thousands of times before. So the eternal spirit of me gave you the perfect commands to deliver yourself from your own evil. And if you can't do that, I have already corrected your technology. It's just the manipulation aspects put in by the perverts. They can't get you to do anything they don't want to do, and they can program you like they're programming a video game. Fucking pervert. Okay? If you don't think you're a fucking pervert, okay. glad Patrick stepped up to protect Natalie to the best of his ability when she was vulnerable, because I couldn't do it myself. Because she wanted to protect me and I couldn't. We were in too vulnerable and manipulative and disgusting of a situation. And manipulated relationships, like I told my wife, don't work. Okay. I ain't saying you ain't pretty. I'm just saying I'm not ready for any person, place, or thing try to pull the reins in on me, right? So goodbye. I'll be going. I see no sense and crying and grieving. We'll both live a lot longer. If you live without me, life's eternal and grace is infinite. I'm always going to be there for the line of Amy and Natalie and Emily and Kate and whatever means necessary I need to be. Okay. It's not mine and Natalie's fault that a bunch of perverts at the fort, that was one time I told her, I think like I went through, I was telling her about puberty. I had the same thoughts you did. And she looks at me and she goes, you pervert. Oh, she's getting head fucked through sexual perversion suggestions and impulses by the perverts at Huachuca just as much as I am. That must be hard for a little cutie going through puberty, wanting to protect the most gorgeous man in the entire United States from all the perverts that are jealous of him. Want to sell me something? How about insurance? Is that a 6-inch fucking lizard? I think it's your fucking dick, and I think you stick it in everybody's head for money. Okay. And nobody likes that. Oh, get Deputy Dewey, you ain't. Get the fuck out of here. This ain't no scary movie. No one's afraid of you anymore. Bye. Like on that one with Star Trek one where the Klingons are fighting. We don't need you to come around and make us hate these guys. Get out of here. So, when you're a violent person, you're constantly flirting with death because you hate who you are eternally because you're not good enough to be the gracious good shepherd. So repent, right? If you can't do that, you do know that David Rockefeller was collecting all the evidence of, I'm a pussy and won't stand up for the Lord's Prayer and think I'm a better person than Parsons, who's a pervert. Seriously, did you stand up to shut down human trafficking of little girls in Mexico all by yourself in June of 2009? Well, then you might want to take a knee. All righty then. It's halftime at the Super Bowl. Okay, shut the fuck up. It ain't working. It ain't working. That's the way you do it. You can play your guitar on the empty, money for nothing, get money for nothing, and your chicks for free. Oh, come on now. Lord's Prayer is perfect, and you won't stand up for a lick a day in your life. You think Jesus already did it for you, and you're going to a magic place where he's your make-believe God that's better than me when you die? Want to think that one through again? Let's verbalize that one more time so you can hear exactly what you think you believe in. Okay, I'm a complete fucking coward who will take a paycheck from the devil to pay the devil to live here to sexually reproduce and won't stand up with the living Lord for the Lord's Prayer so we can all live freedom of the commands of Christ. Well, that's not Islam. No, it's not. Okay. Fucking for virginity, for money, wait a minute. Okay. Or Lord's Prayer, so none of us have to fuck for virginity to pay the devil to live here. Parsons, no brainer. Yeah, I know. And you don't think I'm the most gorgeous man alive. Are you serious about that? She's so cute, Jesus. You're in the middle there. That's my Amy too. She's cute. Isn't she cute? So, you don't think so? Okay. Susie Bear. I hope she's doing well. It's hard when we connect. She tries to help me through, but she's not feeling well herself, and she doesn't feel attractive because she's not feeling well because of all the stress and the toxins of the Metroplex for genocide that is Phoenix and the abuse on her through these people that call themselves scientists that are going to solve all our problems with science because of the scourge of Abrahamic religion. Boy, Sam Harris sure is a dumb butts. Well, you don't feel sorry for the guy. This is millions of years, this is hundreds and thousands of millions of years in the making, like Einstein explained to people about Hitler, and he wasn't just explaining about Hitler. He was also explaining about the Geddes family, the Roosevelts, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and they knew because they had the most extensive espionage network in the entire world and the most intelligent person, and people would go send him, talk to him, think what he really thinks and stuff. And they would sit there like they do with me when I had the talk with the transistor radio with Jesus, and they didn't have my inner dialogue, so they couldn't hear Jesus talking to me, but they could pretty much figure out what Jesus was saying, right? But then for the most part, until recently, when I had inner dialogue, they couldn't figure out what my mind was thinking because I'm more intelligent than they are. And my brain wasn't doing things that, okay, he's gone stupid. Now he's doing things stupid and irrationally. Now life's eternal, grace is infinite, Lord's Prayer is perfect. We're not doing it, but eventually I will get you there. I know a place, ain't nobody worried. I'll take you, ain't no smiling faces. I'll take you, smiling faces is the undisputed truth. Smiling faces tell lies, yeah, and I got proof, right? And so you don't need smoking gun, you don't need Epstein files, and you don't need Earlstein files, and you don't need video. Life's eternal, grace is infinite, proof of truth is the proof. Sierra care given accordance to need, built to last. Once we use the deliverance of evil, which is the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer. It's perfect every time. You can hit it with a stick, it ain't going to change. You don't have to pay make-believe money or win make-believe money from gambling things on your fucking phone, idiot. Okay, I said it. It's vulgar intercourse. What do you want me to say? Oh, it's love. It's the love of the Lord's Prayer. It's not the love of the Lord's Prayer. You're a fucking idiot. Stop being a fucking idiot. Stop gambling with your children's and grandchildren's lives and getting them murdered by toxic environments because you won't stand up for the Lord's Prayer with the most gorgeous man on the planet. I happen to be the most gorgeous man on the planet. And if you don't believe that, we're judged by our deed. You can't believe that your ego is more attractive than my deed. My faithful love far exceeds your patheticness of your selfishness and your ego. Now stand up and be as beautiful as me. If you can't do that, I'm taking care of it. My battery's still flashing. Okay, I love you guys. Peace out.